And then the final two, verse 24 and 25, go clearly together. Again, it is given to some to speak with tongues, and to another is given the interpretation of tongues. And this is one of those gifts that in the 1 Corinthians time period, in the letter that Paul wrote to them, that particular gift was a big deal back then.
So today I think the gift of tongues is most manifest in our missionary efforts to take the gospel to all the nations of the earth. And I think Joseph clearly recognized this is probably the most important manifestation of that gift. He said one time, "Be not so curious about tongues. Do not speak in tongues except there be an interpreter present." So he is saying there is that manifestation. And in the early church, particularly through the 19th century, that sort of gift of tongues was exercised on quite a number of occasions. But this is what he says. He goes on to say this: "The ultimate design of tongues is to speak to foreigners. And if persons are very anxious to display their intelligence, let them speak to such in their own tongues. The gifts of God are all useful in their place, but when they are applied to that which God does not intend, they prove an injury, a snare, a curse, instead of a blessing." I think he's saying, really, in our day, the best manifestation of the gift of tongues are those who can preach the gospel in their own, in not their own native language, but have a way and power to convey it to others in their language.
And for those people who are hearing the gospel, to have the interpretation of tongues when somebody doesn't have the words, the vocabulary, the training to be able to communicate.
I'm reminded of a member of my ward who mentioned he went to Germany on his mission, and he had a very difficult time learning German. And on one occasion, while he was very, very still new in the mission field, his missionary companion asked him to bear his testimony, and he said, it just came. It came out, and it came fluently, and he expressed himself just in a marvelous way, and his companion just kind of looked at him. "You've got to be kidding me." And he said, and afterwards, I didn't even really know what I had said. And he said, I think I remember correctly, he said, from that time on, I was able to comprehend the language and express it in a powerful way.